Know thyself. No, not in the biblical sense. Although, if that's your thing, carry on. What does it mean to know thyself? And the concept and the phrase traces all the way back to ancient Greece. Lots of words from Socrates to Plato, many others in between, including Sun Tzu, and the inscription above the door at the Oracle's place in the Matrix movies. Because that kind of closes the loop on the Socrates thing. Anyway, in ancient Greece, it was one of the three maxims that was inscribed at the temple of Apollo at Delphi. The other two of which were nothing to excess and certainty brings insanity. Something to contemplate for later. Depending on who you want to listen to, though, the phrase can mean to know your measure or to know your place. Plato kind of relates it to us that people make themselves appear ridiculous when they're trying to know obscure things before they know themselves. And this is according to Wikipedia, so take that for what it's worth. I think what he's getting at, though, is the useful, useless. I don't want to make a value judgment there. But the pursuit of knowledge of things esoteric, like for me, quantum physics, if I can't tie my shoes, probably not a real good pursuit. So we go to Ben Franklin, jump around a bit. He observed that there are three things that are extremely hard: steel, diamond, and to know oneself. We talked about Sun Tzu, and in The Art of War, he proposes that to know others and know thyself, you will not be endangered by innumerable battles. So there appear to be some sort of defensive value in that, at least, if not offensive value. It doesn't say that you're going to win. It says you won't be endangered. So I suppose even though you might lose, you could come out relatively unscathed, perhaps have your character intact. So you and I likely don't know each other, and yet if someone asked you, you'd be able to describe me, or at least your perceptions of me, perhaps with a little bit of hesitation. But if that same person asked you if you know yourself, the answer, without hesitation or much reservation, would likely be yes. After all, you know your likes and dislikes. You have a sense for what you want and what you don't want out of life. I mean, better than anyone else, you know what you see in that mirror we like to talk about, that self-perception, and whether you discuss it with others or not. And you also know how much you like it when you go to bed at night and lay your head on that pillow. You're always sleeping with yourself. So what does all this navel gazing get us, other than a crick in the neck and some circular references on what it means to be human? If we jump a few centuries back to Hamlet and Shakespeare, he has Polonius tell us that this, above all, to thine own self be true. And perhaps he assumes we already know ourselves, or maybe he's just giving us permission to run with our own personal truth, my truth, or your truth, if you will. And I'm not here to judge, friend. After all, we recently talked about judgment. But I would have you consider that even our own personal truth is relative. And what you knew to be true yesterday is probably pretty similar to what you know to be true today, unless something really dramatic happened. And if that's the case, I certainly hope that it was good news for you. But even then, when your identity shifts based on a change in belief structure or an update in context, what you know about yourself has to be reevaluated, even if it doesn't change. So what then? It is time to reinforce or reestablish our own authenticity. It's an opportunity for personal growth and evolution. Rich reward of life that prevents us from walking around like zombies obsessed with the brains of others while having no knowledge of our own. So let's take Sun Tzu's advice. Let's go to war prepared, armed with the knowledge of ourselves, that we may not be endangered as we battle the zombies who are obsessed with our brains. That's my take, friend. What say you?